Page 2 now. America as one giant soft target for terrorism. Let's face it, we are. But we have this thing called the Second Amendment that they do not have in places like France. And most in law enforcement understand that a well-armed citizenry is a well-protected society. This is understood by lawmen from Phoenix to Detroit.
I'm just talking about the areas where you have large crowds and someone pulls out the gun and starts shooting. Maybe somebody with a concealed weapon can take the guy down. I'm concerned about what's been going on. Just think of Colorado. If there was someone in there with a concealed weapon, maybe that guy would have been shot down.
Guns are not, for the most part, non-existent. And so someone planning an attack in multiple locations feel pretty comfortable, I would imagine, that they're not going to be met with an armed citizen.
It's common sense. When you lock your front door, it's harder for a criminal to enter. When you lock and load your firearm and you carry it with you, it's a deterrent against a terrorist. Fact is, we're at war. And it's about time this Congress declares war against radical Islamists globally. And joining me now from Southern California, retired Navy SEAL and best-selling author, Lieutenant Commander Iron Ed Hiner. Iron Ed, you heard Sheriff Arpaio and the police chief of Detroit. An armed citizenry, in my opinion, is a well-protected citizenry. You agree?
I do. I do agree with that. You know, we've been talking about this for years, and, you know, California obviously has very tight gun laws, and not many citizens can carry a weapon. Even myself, you know, I have a top secret clearance, did 20 years in the SEAL teams. I was trusted with a weapon. I was trusted with the top secret material of America. I cannot get a concealed weapons license.
That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, does that boggle your mind? And that's because of the restrictive laws in the county in which you live in California?
Well, it does. And, you know, I know we don't want to necessarily arm everyone, but the people that have been trusted, like myself, my friends, a lot of military folks, ex-law enforcement, I think we can ramp it up a little bit and let people carry some weapons. It's a deterrent, if nothing else. And
you know, we can't speculate again, and I hate to do that on this program, but if good citizen happened to be carrying a firearm in that meeting yesterday, that Christmas party they were having, who knows what would have happened. But I think when we step back and we look at the big picture, you obviously are a veteran, and I would probably assume a well-decorated veteran. We are at war, and the war is not only overseas, it is at our doorsteps, is it not?
It is right here, and it's going to be here, and it's going to get worse. I mean, I don't want to scare the population, but I have a lot of people in law enforcement, FBI, you name it, and it's a lot of it here. And this extremist, I call them, they're feral individuals, these people that take their religion and they become violent. They are here, and they believe in whatever they believe, but we need to treat it as they're combatants.
Military 101, if you will, strategy 101 is in order to defeat the enemy, you must define the enemy, correct?
That's right. And, you know, I think if you look at the ingredients to all of these attacks around the world, it is Muslim, extremist, violent people. So you can start to find them.
Right, and see, this is the problem when we have a president who won't even use the term radical Islamist. That is the enemy. Instead, he wants to use this vanilla term extremists. And it's become permeated in our society. We have the news media saying now extremists instead of who they are, and that is part of the problem. But when you zoom out even further, we have a choice in this country, do we not? I mean, obviously, the war is at our doorstep, yes, right. But the war could be, the large portion of the war could and should be fought over there, should it not?
Absolutely. And the more, even with that refugee situation we're talking about, you know, bringing refugees in, we need to pause that as we did. And we need to get in there, and the United States needs to be the varsity leader. This is not a JV fight, as people have said. This is a varsity issue. We have a strong foundation inside the Middle East, intelligence, networks. We can lead the free world in there and just get rid of these people because they want to collect ground. They want to build ground. Once you build or take ground, then we can find their leadership and we can destroy them and get Iraq back on place.
Okay, so the Pentagon announces this week they're going to send more special ops guys, very similar to what you used to do in the Navy SEALs. It may include some Navy SEALs for all we know. But the numbers are in the dozens, maybe in the hundreds, so maybe we have 3,000 to 4,000 guys on the ground there right now. It worries me. I want your opinion, but it worries me that these guys are on the ground by themselves. They're trying to arrest and take into custody these Islamic jihadists instead of, shooting them with their firearms. I mean, it seems as though and of course we have the rules of engagement, throw that in there as well. It seems as though we're almost putting these guys on a suicide mission. Are you worried about them? We
all are. When you go in, one thing in the military terms, you go in with overwhelming force. And I understand we get special forces on the ground, and our guys go out there, SEALs, Green Beret, you name it, and can be force multipliers in the fight against ISIS. But you do have to have a strong military when things turn south, because oftentimes in combat it does. And we need to go in there and we need to finish the job. And that would mean the United States Congress, in my opinion, declaring war finally, and possibly the president acting like a commander-in-chief, and the full force of the United States military to support these guys. Well, I agree as well, but I also agree that I think the Western world, all free democracies, this coalition needs to stand up and be seen. It can't be just America, I don't think. I think we need to have the other Western parts of the world get in there and get their boots on the ground.
And just today, the Pentagon announces they're going to put women on the front lines and probably wedge them into the Navy SEALs, too.
Well, that's by January, I believe that's the deadline for the SEAL teams, and I've been talking to a lot of friends and studying the issue quite a bit. And what people need to understand is that we already have women in naval special warfare. They just don't wear the trident of a SEAL, and they don't go through SEAL training. And we've had women conducting military training for 3 years in the SEAL team as far as combat infantry skills. And the results haven't been very positive. A lot of injuries, and it just what we call the combat chassis, the foundation of a body.
Right, and the bottom line is you guys want to have the best and the brightest out there. And it doesn't matter their gender, right? They could be a female, they could be a male. They just need to be the best, correct?
That's right.
That's the litmus test. Absolutely. And I got news for the Obama administration. Women are on the front lines. It's called San Bernardino County right now. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Coming up next, Pastor James Manning on the terrorist strike and Barack Hussein Obama as the Daily Ledger continues.